When it comes to the IELTS speaking test, many candidates feel a sense of anxiety. You might have prepared extensively for months, but as soon as you sit down with the examiner, those nerves kick in. What if I stumble? What if I forget everything? If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. The key to conquering the IELTS Speaking Task 1 lies not just in preparation, but in knowing the right strategies to approach it confidently. Welcome to VuKu. Let's explore how you can excel in IELTS Speaking Task 1, understanding IELTS Speaking Task 1. Before diving into strategies, let's take a closer look at what IELTS Speaking Task 1 is all about. This part of the IELTS speaking section, often referred to as the introduction and interview, is where you can truly set the tone for the rest of your test. It lasts about 4 to 5 minutes, during which the examiner asks you questions about familiar topics, such as your home, work, studies, hobbies, and daily life. Think of this section as a warm-up. The examiner isn't trying to make you uncomfortable. Instead, they're giving you a chance to show off your ability to engage in casual conversation. Your goal here is to demonstrate fluency, coherence, and a broad range of vocabulary. But how exactly can you do that? Start strong with confidence. Let's start with the first and perhaps most crucial strategy: confidence. Confidence can make or break your performance in IELTS Speaking Task 1. Picture this. You're sitting across from the examiner and they ask you, "Where do you live?" Now, you might know the answer like the back of your hand, but if your nerves get the better of you, your response might be shaky or filled with fillers like or To combat this, approach the test like you're having a friendly chat with someone you trust. Maintain eye contact, sit up straight, and don't rush your answers. When you're confident, your speech flows naturally, making it easier for the examiner to follow your ideas and for you to express them clearly. Know the common topics. Another essential strategy is familiarizing yourself with the common topics you'll likely encounter in IELTS Speaking Task 1. The topics are generally straightforward and include areas like your work or study, your hometown, family, hobbies, and daily routines. For 2024, these topics are expected to remain consistent with previous years. Knowing what to expect can significantly reduce your anxiety. Spend time thinking about these topics and how you would talk about them. For instance, if the examiner asks you about your hobbies, be ready to talk about them in detail. What do you enjoy? Why do you enjoy it? How often do you engage in this hobby? Here's a pro tip. Don't just practice giving one-word answers. Expand on your responses. For example, instead of just saying, "I like reading," you could say, "I love reading, especially historical novels. They allow me to dive into different eras and understand how people lived in the past. I usually read for about an hour every night before bed." Expand your vocabulary. Speaking of expanding your responses, another critical strategy is to broaden your vocabulary. The more words you know, the more expressive you can be during the test. However, it's not just about knowing big words, it's about using them correctly. For instance, let's say the examiner asks you about your daily routine. Instead of saying, "I wake up early," you could say, "I usually rise at dawn to make the most of the quiet morning hours." Notice how the second response is more vivid and paints a clearer picture? That's what a rich vocabulary does. But remember, it's not about cramming your answers with fancy words. The key is to use words you're comfortable with and that naturally fit the context. Enjoying the video so far? Make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to VuKu. Practice with purpose. Preparation is key, but not all practice is equal. Instead of randomly answering practice questions, focus on targeted practice. One effective method is to record yourself while answering questions. Play back the recording and listen critically. Are you using fillers? Is your pronunciation clear? Are you expanding on your answers? Another powerful technique is mirror practice. Stand in front of a mirror and answer questions as if you're speaking to the examiner. This helps you become more aware of your body language and facial expressions. Use pauses wisely. Now let's talk about pauses. Many candidates fear pauses during the speaking test, thinking it might reflect poorly on their fluency. But here's the truth. Pauses can be your friend if used wisely. They give you a moment to gather your thoughts, especially when faced with a tricky question. For example, if the examiner asks you a question that requires some thought, it's perfectly okay to pause briefly before answering. You might even say something like, "That's an interesting question," to buy yourself a few extra seconds. Avoid memorization. One common pitfall that many candidates fall into is memorizing answers. You might be tempted to memorize responses to common questions, but this can backfire. The IELTS examiners are trained to recognize memorized answers, and relying on them can make your speech sound robotic. Instead of memorizing, focus on practicing the art of spontaneous speaking. This means being comfortable with your vocabulary and ideas so that you can express them naturally, even if the question is slightly different from what you expected. Smile and stay relaxed. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly effective. Smile. When you smile, it helps you relax and project a positive attitude. A relaxed mind performs better, and smiling can even help reduce your nervousness. The examiner is likely to respond more positively to a candidate who appears friendly and at ease. Get professional help if needed. If you're feeling unsure about your preparation, consider getting professional help. There are plenty of IELTS preparation courses available online. These courses provide access to class recordings, tips, and practice questions tailored to help you achieve a high band score. So, scoring high in IELTS is about building confidence, expanding your vocabulary, practicing purposefully, and approaching the test with the right mindset. By applying these strategies, you'll be better equipped to handle the speaking test with ease and achieve the band score you're aiming for. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to VuKu for more English learning content, and leave a comment below if you have any questions or need further advice. Thanks for watching, and best of luck with your IELTS exam.